Hey guys, welcome back to another game of Pauper. We are playing some Turbo Fog in the replay room here because I forgot to turn on my recording when I was recording this match. And because it's such a rare match, we're going up against Eye Candy, or sometimes known as, Izzet Fiend, Cyclops Fiend, all sorts of names go around this. I tend to call it Eye Candy. That's how it was first introduced to me, but it's just the red-blue Teamer Battle Rage you with Cyclopses and Fiend deck. So it was not really a tight game at all, actually. The opponent kind of did nothing all game, but the game went extremely long, so it's not a bad thing that we're kind of in this in the replay room. I went first, kept a really good hand here of the two lands with Jace and all that. So I go ahead and lead on the Jace right away. Start mailing them, thinking to myself, well, there's no way they can daze me from here. Well, I mean, the chances of getting dazed are very low, but then I saw Snow-Covered Island and thought, crap, this is possible. Then he runs out the Gataxian Probe, and for a while I thought he was Tribe Combo. And then he played his Swiftwater Cliffs. At this point, my hand is still looking really good. I've been drawing lands and stuff. I got Brainstorm to draw me out of it, Arcane Denial, and Think Twice, so I'm doing pretty well. I know exactly what deck this is at this point with the Probe and the Swiftwater Cliffs. Those are pretty telling signs that we're up against Eye Candy. And the fact that I've started milling them so early is really, really good. With my Quicksand, I was hoping to see a Kiln Fiend rather than Nivix Cyclops, because you can actually just kill the... you can actually just kill it with Quicksand, rather than the Cyclops, which has a very big butt. So opponent goes for Gush. I think I counter it. Oh no, I Moment's Peace in response. Okay. That makes sense. And then that doesn't open me up to getting some advantage with Think Twice, though. Opponent goes for another Cyclops. I don't know. He did this pretty much throughout the whole game, especially in the second game and in the first game. And then I saw that he's playing Gutshot. He's playing a lot of his creatures when he doesn't really need to anymore, which tells me that his hand is bad. He'd look a lot scarier if he had a full grip of cards. Goes for the Apostle's Blessing here, which tells me he's probably wanting to go for the kill. I want to see if I can tangle him up. And eventually he just doesn't play anything, and I just take the damage. It can't go to too low life total, especially if he's running Gutshot and stuff. He can really catch you off guard. So with the Lightning Bolts and Gutshots, I think I'm good staying at 11 life here. He attacks anyways into my Fog. I'm going to start getting some value out of Think Twice. There's another Jace, which is a bit hard to cast. I think I wait till I have 8 mana. Right now I have just 7. Or 6, rather. So I'm going to wait till I have 8 mana so I can have still double Fog or double counter up. Being able to play 3 spells against them usually means you can beat them. The only way these guys can really take us down is with main deck Dispel. Being able to take us out in like the first 5 turns of the game, which is very possible for them. If they have that one Dispel, we are totally screwed. Because our counter spells are a little bit more expensive than theirs, and we have to play reactively with our Fogs. So that kind of they know that we have to play a Fog, therefore they know that we're down at least 1 mana, usually 2. I get another Jace's Erasure here, but I'm up to 7 mana. I'm still not casting them because I don't want to necessarily go too low, although I do see that he's on 2 mana. Here, in response to the Ponder, I decide to Moment's Peace, because I really don't want to give him any chances at all. Wish I had some draw spells. There's my 8th land, which I happily play, and then I can lay down my Jace's Erasure number 2, which is going to speed up the milling. Our opponent's already down to 20 cards because of all of their drawing and our drawing, and now with the turn 2 Erasure really adds up over the course of the game. It's turn 11. Yield to that stuff, and also taking a look at our opponent's deck is actually really, really important. Opponent decides to Lightning Bolt us. We let it go. They do it in response to our Jace's Erasure, which is interesting. Now we're dead to a Lightning Bolt and a Gutshot, which he still has plenty of both. Let's take a look. So the opponent has used. Well, we milled one gut shot. He used a gut shot, and there's one lightning bolt. So there are still 2 gut shots and 3 lightning bolts left in his deck. And there's the second lightning bolt, which we counter because we don't want to get gut shotted to death. And he's so low on cards. I wasn't sure if he was going to draw, especially with the triple Jace's Razor in play. In any case, I decide to use my fog in response to him drawing the extra cards, which he did end up doing. But now he's down to 7, and it's very, very likely that I kill him this turn, even with just this single Preordain. Preordain mills him for 3, and I just need one more draw spell. I find it with Preordain. I have a counter up. I'm feeling very, very safe. He's down to 1 card. There's the last lightning bolt. I hesitate for a long time because I want to see if he's got the extra gut shot in his hand, to see if he's running all 4. That would have given me just a smidge more information about his deck to know that there's a 4th gut shot. But in the end, I didn't quite want to risk it. If he had had a counter, it wouldn't have mattered really when I spent my counter, whether it was on the lightning bolt, the gut shot, because he could have just used it to counter my spell on the lightning bolt anyways, and then just gut shotted me. So I probably should have just let him lightning bolt me down to 1 and then countered the gut shot if he had it. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't have worked and give me the extra ability to see his deck. So I take a really good long look at his list. We've got 40 cards here. He's got 4 cards in hand that we didn't see. I'm assuming that he had 1 more gut shot. Or actually, when I look at it now, he's got to have had 2 gut shots. So, oh no, there's the 3rd one, right. So 3 gut shots. So that means that he probably had the last one in hand, as well as another lightning bolt. I would have been very dead had he found extra red mana. Yeah, so let's move on to game 2 and on to sideboarding. Okay, so in this game, I sideboarded out 1 Arcane Denial, sideboarded out 1 Muddle, 1 Preordain, and 1 Quiet Disrepair, and I added the 3 Dispels, 2 Counter Spells. Is that all? 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess that would be it. So it would have been the 3... 3 Dispels, 2 Counterspell. Total of 5 cards, I guess. I don't remember the other one. Oh, yeah, wait. Oh, yeah, and I took out a Tangle as well. A Tangle is basically just another, it's basically just another bad fog at this point, because they're going to be attacking us with lethal every turn, no matter if we tap down 1 creature. They usually have another one that they can play anyways, or they'll have a Delver of Secrets or something like that. So the Tangle's not that useful, and I prefer to have Fog in this matchup. So, game 2, they're on the draw. I keep a decent hand here. 3 lands. One of them is colorless, but I've got my 2 colors here, and I can also brainstorm and shuffle if I draw a Terramorphic Expanse. I've got my counter, I've got a Fog, and I've got a couple draw spells. So this is another really good hand. They go with their Preordain. And see, I just draw my Terramorphic Expanse here. Opponent goes for the Gitaxian Probe. I don't like Gitaxian Probe being used against me, especially on their turn when they have their creature out. It tells me, I'm ready to kill you. What have you got? And then it's an even scarier moment when they actually go in for the attack after seeing your hand. You know that they've probably got something to interact with you. So this early Delver actually is pretty bad for us. There's no denying that they can definitely take us down with just 1 Delver if we're not careful, especially because they can still use Temur Battle Rage on it and stuff. Like with a Mutagenic Growth Temur Battle Rage, they're attacking us for 10 damage right there. So we were lucky. We had double Brainstorm, double Terramorphic Expanse. I probably could have played it a little bit better because I ended up putting the Terramorphic back on top with the Trio Tails on top of it. So the second Terramorphic was not in my hand when it came around to my turn, but I still made out with a pretty decent hand here. I decided to to discard a Tree of Tails here. Went for a Moment's Peace because I'm at 10 life. He's got lightning bolts and stuff. I don't want him attacking me with Insectile Aberrations and then just, gut shot lightning bolting me. So at this point, I'm fogging every turn. Him playing creatures really does not matter anymore. He does not have to play any more stuff. I am just fogging every turn for sure, as of turn 6. I decided to muddle for a Jace's Erasure here because it is turn 8, and I have to start winning. Well, it was turn 8 for me, or turn 7 for me, and I do have to start winning pretty soon. I decided to go for the Accumulated Knowledge. He's tapped out of red mana a lot for playing his Kiln Fiends for no reason. I'd be, again, much more scared if he kept a full hand with red mana up, because that means he had Pyroblast, he could have all sorts of different stuff. So he's just playing his creatures out, tapping out of his red, which reassures me a lot. And having that Brainstorm really makes me feel better about getting a late Erasure, because now I can... it catches me up on the milling a little bit. You'll notice here that he's playing Spell Pierce, which is kind of an uncommon choice nowadays. It does counter a non-creature spell, as opposed to, let's see, there's none here right now. The Dispels, which counter instants. Same mana cost and everything, but this is, paying the 2 is much worse, in my opinion, than Dispel. And against me, Dispel is just better. There's, they could counter Jace's Erasure, I guess, with it, but most of the time they're going to want to counter an instant spell for them to win. And when I can pay 2 to prevent that, and then just cost them a card for no reason, it really makes the card a lot worse against me. Maybe not against other types of decks, but I generally think that Dispel's better in Eye Candy. Goes for the other Gitaxian Probe, which again makes me very, very nervous. I think at this point he even writes down what I have in my hand. Goes for the Gush. I really think about countering it, but I don't. I've already resolved my my Fog. I get my own Gush, and this is probably one of the trickier parts of this turn is when. Oop, let's stop here. So I play my Gush. He Dispels. What do? I could counter, but then he's got 5 cards in hand. I could just let it go, not get my cards back. Not get my cards for Gush. But then what? I'm stuck with Counterspell, Tangle in hand, and he could easily just have another Dispel, or Dispel or another Counterspell of his own. I'd be very, very stuck with just these 2 cards. So I decide to take the risk and try to get my cards back. Of course, he places all of his useless triggers. I end up counterspelling. He lightning bolts me in response, which I guess is fine. I could have been dead here. He could have had another lightning bolt and then a gut shot. Of course, that combination is pretty deadly. I'm pretty happy, though, because I get my draw spell and another dispel for my trouble, so I get basically another counterspell back, and I get a second fog. So that exchange ended up being very, very beneficial for me. I replay my land, and there we are. I'm back on top. Opponent's at 15 cards in hand. He's very, very low on cards. I am still just tangling. Even on the upkeep, I don't care if the creatures don't untap. It doesn't matter anymore. I'd rather give him less information. I'm all out of basics. I've played almost all of my lands in the whole deck at this point. So I know that my 21 cards are basically just gas. I did flood quite a bit in this game, but it ended up being completely fine. So we are drawing and drawing and drawing, bringing him down to 7. Here I draw an Arcane Denial, and it was... Whoop, sorry. Oh no! So what I ended up doing, I didn't have a fog. So on my turn, I actually milled myself so that I could go and get potentially a Moment's Peace, or a draw spell, or a Think Twice into my graveyard to kill him. So that's what I really like about Think Twice, is that you can mill yourself when you need to, and it makes it more likely that you'll find either a Moment's Peace or another redraw in the late game. So I didn't feel too bad about milling myself for 2. I did get the Moment's Peace on the second draw, which means I would have gotten stuck with a counterspell before, or with the Arcane Denial before, and then with that Arcane Denial, I managed to play my Moment's Peace on his upkeep, play Dispel on the Moment's Peace, and then counter the Dispel with my Arcane Denial in order to draw some cards. He had no interaction here. Oh no, he did have a Spell Pierce that I think he played to try to stop that, but I easily paid for it. And important to note as well, he had Aura Flux in his deck, which would have been pretty nasty for us if he had played it a little earlier. I think he might have been only running one of them. Other enchantments have at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this enchantment unless you pay 2. So luckily I milled that. Even if he had played it on turn 15, I'm not too worried about it here. So here I basically draw 4 cards, mill him out completely. I think he goes for a gut shot here. I don't even take the chance. I know he's got like nothing left in his deck. I just dispel it past the turn. I even fetch for a Moment's Peace just in case, and that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoy this replay, and we will see you next time.